Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kaiser. I'm from Danube University Krems in Austria, and I'm the project coordinator of Living Danube Limes, the projects I'm going to present to you. I'll start with some technical details. The full name of our projects is Valorizing Cultural Heritage and Fostering Sustainable Tourism by Living the Common Heritage on the Danube Limes as a basis for a cultural route, abbreviated as Living Danube Limes. It's an Interreg Danube Transnational Programme project in the priority-specific objective to foster sustainable use of natural and cultural heritage and resources. It's running from July 2020 to the end of December 2022. The project incorporates 10 Danube region countries and has 19 project partners, as well as 27 associated strategic partners, and is funded by ERDF funding, IPA funding, and ENI funding. And altogether, we have about 3.2 million euros for a 2.5 years project. So that's the technical details done. And I'm going to talk to you about the partnership, Roman heritage connecting the Danube region, the EU strategy for the Danube region and how our project fits into that, and finally, dissemination on how to make the common Roman heritage tangible. So, the partnership. What you see now on the screen is a map of Europe, and in red you see the former Roman Empire spanning Europe, but also the northern parts of Africa and the Mediterranean. And we have our project partners distributed along the Danube, of course, since it's a Danube transnational project. Starting in Germany, at the spring of the Danube, we have the Friedrich Alexander University Erlangen-Nürnberg. In Austria, we have the University for Continuing Education Krems, the Danube University Krems, which is the lead partner of this project. We have the Paris-Lodron University in Salzburg, and we have the Ludwig Boltzmann Institute for Archaeological Prospection and Virtual Archaeology. In the Czech Republic, we have the Institute of Theoretical and Applied Mechanics of the Academy of Sciences. In Slovakia, we have two partners, the Municipal Monument Preservation Institute in Bratislava and the Slovak University of Technology, also in Bratislava. In Hungary, the Budapest University of Technology and Economics and Davino Supplier Tourism Regional Development and Educational Limited Partnership. In Croatia, we have the Institute of Archaeology. And in Serbia, we have the Institute of Archaeology in Belgrade and the Faculty of Technical Science of the University of Novi Sad. In Bulgaria, we have three partners, the National Tourism Cluster Bulgarian Guide, the Center for Heritage Interpretation, and the Association of Danube River Municipalities, Danube. In Romania, also three partners, we have the National Institute for Research and Development in Tourism, the University of Architecture and Urbanism Ion Mincu in Bucharest, and the Museum of National History and Archaeology Constanța, along already on the shores of the Black Sea. And our final partner is in the Republic of Moldova. In addition to our 19 project partners, we have 27 associated strategic partners, and you can see them now on the screen, also stretched along the shores of the river Danube. And the Danube is central in our project, obviously. And we have thought about heritage that is connecting all the Danube countries, the modern countries along the Danube, and for us, it is the Roman heritage that is common to all the Danube countries and is really a connecting feature. But first to the Danube region itself. It's one of the 4 European macro regions spanning from the Black Forest in Germany to the Black Sea, Romania, Ukraine, and Moldova. The Danube region has about 115 million inhabitants, and we also have a European Union strategy for the Danube region. We are going to hear more about that later on. This is a picture of the Black Forest in Germany, where the Danube starts. We have here the spring of the Danube. And as we follow the Danube further down, as it grows, we come through different countries, different nationalities, and every country along the modern Danube has its specialities, is different, but nevertheless belongs to the same region, the Danube region. Now we already are in the outlet of the Danube, in the Black Sea area. And this takes me to the main goals of Living Danube Limes. I've shown you these pictures of the Danube because, as I said, the Danube is central for our project. What you see now on the screen is once again the Roman Empire at its largest extension. And in our project, we are connecting the whole Danube region with the geographical area connected by the Danube, obviously. And as I've already said, we've identified the Roman Danube Limes and the Roman heritage along the Danube as heritage spanning the whole area of the modern Danube region in the European Union and beyond. The Danube is the Roman equivalent of a modern highway. It's transnational, it's cultural, it's an economic waterway with great mobility. And what the Danube also does, and the Danube Limes, is connecting the Danube region to the frontiers of the Roman Empire in general, which, as you can see on the map, span from the United Kingdom to the Near East and to Morocco. So we have a vast geographical area that is connected via the Roman heritage to the Danube Limes. And now we see what is an important part of the Roman Danube Limes. It's, as I've already said, the Danube itself. It's a highway connecting countries, connecting provinces in the Roman Empire. And that's, as you will see later on, why ships and Roman shipbuilding traditions are very important in our project. But we also have heritage, Roman heritage, built heritage on land, on the shores of the Danube. I've picked a few pictures showing Roman structures, archaeological sites from Austria, going down further the Danube to Nove, also the Opidava fortress and Iatru castle in Bulgaria, Romania. This is the heritage on land that connects Danube countries. As I've already said, the Danube connects, and the Danube connects today different countries, countries that have different traditions, but it was the same in the Roman Empire. It was the same in the Roman times. There were different traditions in every province. The customs, for example, were different in the Roman provinces. Here, for example, we see a women's costume on a tombstone of the Noricum and Pannonia provinces. So today, Austria and Hungary, mostly. In our project, now getting once again a bit technical, we have three main pillars. One is the archaeology and history pillar. We have a museum, clusters pillar, and protection and green tourism is also a part of our project. Archaeology and history. We are working on the characterization of the whole region in the Roman times. We are identifying pilot sites, and we bring together all information on the history of the Roman Danube Limes region. Characterization of the Roman Danube Limes. I've already said that it is very important for us to include the Danube and have it as the late Roman, early Roman time in general, waterway, connecting waterway through the Roman Empire, and not only as a border region. This is the nautical component, so to say, the Danube component. Whereas on the other hand, we have the, as you see also here in the picture, we have the archaeological sites and structures still standing on the shores of the Danube. That's for us both are part of the Roman Danube Limes region. And in order to identify all the potential that is in the Roman structures along the Danube, we are closing research gaps. And for that, our project partner, the Ludwig Boltzmann Institute for Archaeological Prospection and Virtual Archaeology, they are doing ground-penetrating radar services and closing these research gaps. And also reconstructing and virtualizing how the Roman structures that are today underneath the soil looked 1,500 to 2,000 years ago. The next pillar is the museum clusters pillar. So there we are identifying and strengthening museum clusters and visitor sites all along the Danube like a chain of pearls. We are constructing virtual reality, and we are strengthening already existing archaeological sites and museums along the Danube. We are very happy that we can build on predecessor projects like a project of our partner, the Association of Danube River Municipalities Danube. They had an Interreg project between Romania and Bulgaria, and you can see on this map the sites they have identified, the Roman sites between Bulgaria and Romania. Museum clusters, there are numbers of museums along the Danube, not only dealing with the Roman heritage, but also, of course, with the Roman heritage. And our aim is to connect these museum clusters and sites along the whole span of the Danube. Concerning site strengthening, we have an example here in Austria I'm showing the pictures of, is the example of Carnuntum, where reconstructions, as you can see them on the screen, make the Roman past tangible for the visitors. The visitors can walk through the Roman buildings and can get an idea of how it was to live in the Roman times. Also here other reconstructions, virtual reconstructions, a roadside in Carnuntum with tombstones, a bath in Aquincum, or the Roman fort in Kelemancia, all making the Roman history, the connecting Roman history, tangible and understandable for the broad public. And that brings me to our pilot sites. Each Danube country is going to identify a pilot site, a Roman pilot site, and this pilot site is going to be linked with virtual reality, with festivals, with dissemination activities. And here is an example from Bratislava, Gerulata. We have here linking the pilot site with the virtual reconstruction and to show how this building looked in Roman times. So this is a very important part of our project. And the third pillar is our protection and green tourism pillar. We're going to develop sustainable tourism concepts, the basics for a Danube region cultural route spanning the whole of the Danube area. There are going to be physical visibility measures, conservation standards for archaeological sites, and cultural heritage protection plans, because our cultural heritage needs to be protected from everyday threats as well as from catastrophes, natural catastrophes. Think just about Danube floods that get ever higher during the recent times. And that's where we get in with cultural heritage management, the disaster management cycle. And in the third pillar of our project, we're going to tackle the disaster management cycle and how to best approach the practical protection of our Roman heritage along the river Danube. For example, some cultural heritage protection measures that include training for reaction, preparedness. And this should also be part of the Frontiers of the Roman Empire Danube Limes UNESCO World Heritage nomination. Every World Heritage site needs a management plan, and ideally these management plans include cultural heritage protection strategies. And we are working in order to develop these protection strategies to be included into the UNESCO World Heritage nomination and the management plans of the Danube Limes, which, as you well know, is an ongoing process, transnational process, and parts of the Roman Danube Limes are already on the tentative list of UNESCO. And green and sustainable tourism solutions, well, I think the picture speaks for itself. We want to preserve what we have and make sure that the generations that follow us will still be able to enjoy the scenery, the nature, but also the cultural heritage of our Danube region. EUSDR, the European strategy for the Danube region, and how our project fits into it. The EUSDR is one strategy spanning the whole Danube region, has 4 pillars and 12 priorities. And we are working with our project into the priority areas culture and tourism, environmental risks, and people and skills. Living Danube Limes will foster a common Roman brand for the Danube countries, pave the ground for a cultural route spanning the whole Danube region, develop strategies for preservation and management of cultural and natural heritage, and foster green and sustainable tourism. These are all points that are to be found in this EUSDR. Dissemination is already my last point in this presentation, but it's a very important point in our project. We want to make sure that we are not the scientists and academics sitting at universities and working only for themselves, but we want to give our knowledge back to the people, share our knowledge with a broad audience who is interested in the Roman past of the Danube region. And this brings me to the missing link, so to say. The missing link in the 3 pillars graph you've seen before, it's a Roman ship we are reconstructing. We are reconstructing with original tools and Roman technology a Roman Danube ship, a patrol boat, Lusoria type of the 4th century current era. And it's our German project partner, the Friedrich Alexander University, who is doing the reconstructions. And we will physically connect the Danube River countries in 2022 with a connecting cruise with this reconstructed Roman ship. And this brings me back to what I've said at the beginning, that for us the Danube is center stage of the project, and it's not just the borderline of the Roman Empire, but already in Roman times a very connecting force for the whole region as it is today. What you see now on the video are some short insights into the reconstruction process of the Roman Lusoria, the ship we are reconstructing in Living Danube Limes. And as I've said, it's reconstructed with original Roman technology and methods, and also the tools for the reconstruction, the building of the ship, are built after Roman models. That's why we have to start from the very beginning, and that's why you see the very first steps in this video, the making of the tools and the preparation for the shipbuilding. I'm sure you'll follow us online for the next 2 years to see how our ship is progressing, and this just gives you a first insight into the starting process of the ship reconstruction. Dissemination. As I've said, it's a very important part of our project, and it spans all of these 4 pillars, 4 parts of the graph you see now on the screen. We are building a Living Danube Limes app, which has parts of archaeology, information on museums, green tourism, and obviously our Roman ship in it. There are going to be visibility measures at the pilot sites, virtual reality reconstruction, but also small physical reconstructions. We're going to have a Roman Danube Limes Day, an archaeological summer school, a winter school on cultural property protection, international conferences, local focus groups on national level, festivals on the pilot site, and, as I've already mentioned, the connecting cruise in 2022. And this is our Living Danube Limes holistic approach to highlighting the common heritage of the Danube River area today, which is for us the Roman heritage along the Danube Limes. And we really want to make this Roman past tangible. And we're very lucky to have project partners that have already done so during the last years. Here on the picture you see the Tomi's Ancient Festival in Romania. On this picture as well. We are trying to recreate the past in a way to show how it could have been in everyday basis, on everyday life along the Roman Danube and in the Limes area and the border area. This includes obviously military, but also civilians, of course. I've mentioned the Roman Limes Day. The Roman Limes Day is actually from a predecessor project, the project Danube Limes brand, and that's why we can show you already some pictures. In 2022, it also took place, even through the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. You see on the picture, on the photo, our project partner from Bratislava, Margareta Musilova, during the Roman Limes Day in 2020, which featured 450 visitors on this day alone in Slovakia. In our project, we are very much looking forward to continue the work that our project partners have started and done over the last years in order to contribute to a common heritage, common understanding, common feeling of the inhabitants of today's Danube region. And stay tuned. Visit us online, check out what we're doing, have a look on our shipbuilding process, on all the other initiatives we are going to undertake over the next 2.5 years, and save the date for 2022. In 2022, we are going to have our connecting cruise from Germany to the Black Sea with our reconstructed Lusoria, and you can join us when we relive the Roman past along the Danube in the area of the Roman Danube Limes in our project Living Danube Limes. Stay tuned and follow us, and we look forward to see you in 2022.